Hello, good morning, everyone. So we want to welcome you to the webinar, the first ever webinar that we'll be doing by ZILLIONe on document integers, so from paper to data. So I hope this session will be quite valuable for you all because I think we are dealing with so much of documents, so much of handwriting. So we are going to discuss on so much of use cases along with the webinar. So to start off with, I'll be introducing our director for data and AI, Mr. Enrique Wallace, who will be taking you through the webinar from the introduction up to a certain set of use cases. So Enrico, all over to you.
So thank you, Sonali, for the introduction, and thank you for everyone who has joined. I know it's a bad weather day, so thank you for joining. In a few have requested a bit more time, but in the interest of everybody who joined in time, let's start this. So as Sonali mentioned, it's a very important topic, and let me try to summarize it in a nice way. We have been trying to do paperless for many years, but the truth is that not only in Sri Lanka, like universally, the challenge is we are still paper-based. And every business has documents like, contracts, invoices, handwritten logs, and manually handling them really slows down the entire process. There's a lot of errors that are introduced and a lot of wasted resources in getting all this information in. So the solution that we are trying to offer today is called ZILLIONe's document intelligence solution. This changes everything by using AI to extract the information, organize the information, and deliver data instantly. Yeah, let's get the presentation up. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so these are some of the challenges that we have. So as I mentioned, by using AI, we will extract this information that are on documents. We will organize it and deliver it instantly to any system or any process that you have. So we try to turn every document, whether it's printed or handwritten, into structured information. And with this structured information, you can, make actionable uh, decisions or insights that you can have. So what are the key business benefits that you have? One is the high speed and performance. So I'm not going to take too much time explaining that because we know what it is, how we can use AI to speed up things. The critical thing is the reliability of that information that we get. So precision and accuracy of AI versus a human, because a human has so many errors, like translation errors. You see it 9,850, but you enter it as 9,580 or something like that. So all these kind of things we can remove using the AI when we do it. The second part is the manual workload. And when we say manual workload, we all feel that, we can get maybe data entry person, we just pay 30,000, 40,000 and get it done. But there are so many overhead costs, rent, electricity, and that whole opportunity cost of keeping somebody there. Why not have a person who adds real business value and take this whole cost out of the system and put it into data and AI and get that whole thing done faster? There are some of the other ones. The next important thing is I have seen like when we work with clients, it's a real use case. When you get an information from one of your suppliers, the quickest process is to enter that information in very raw form, very basic form. We don't go into too much of detail. But if you have AI doing it for you, you can extract every bit of information from that because an invoice might have cost for items, it might have cost for shipping, it could have cost for handling, maybe how can I say other than the taxes, like we'll say the customs duty, stuff like that. So you don't capture all those things when you enter, you just put an invoice value and then you take it. But then you don't know actually where your cost lies. And today that will affect your bottom line. So using AI, you can extract every single information that you need. The final part that I like to take is it is very scalable because it's a machine that's doing it and it's doing 24/7. You can load thousands of documents a day and it will process it and give you that information. So 24/7 scalability to work with any amount of data. So let's That's the kind of use case we have. Finally, to wrap it up, most systems need APIs to connect. What we have done is we have removed that whole API kind of bottleneck that people have, and we will write it to any of the ERPs, CRMs, or in-house systems that you have. Like for instance, you will see demos on Sage. It could be IFS, it could be an Oracle system, it could be your own homegrown system. It doesn't matter. We don't want APIs. We will directly connect to the screen, do even the authentication for that, and then bring the information in. So those kind of demos you will see. So please pay attention and see, like, how you can use them for your own business processes that you have. Next slide. So I'll just take a very simple use case to explain, and this is common across all our solutions. So here you can see common documents that all of you are familiar with, right? We have a passport, we have an educational certificate, and we have an NIC. What I want you all to take away from this is, if you look at the passport, of course we have, blocked out the information because it's personal information, but if you come there, you can see the orientation of the passport. Now, any of you who has done document intelligence or even applied for a visa, you know how they say to crop the picture, rotate the picture. But if you look at this, this is just holding on a hand and taking the picture. And the AI intelligence is so nice and accurate that even something like that, it can take up the information. The second one is an education certificate, and nothing much to explain there. So we can take all data from that and provide you into any particular storage that you want. It could be a SharePoint storage, it could be a database, it could be an API, it doesn't matter. We can push that information. The third picture, where the NIC is actually a bit more intense, because you can see in the background there is a screen and stuff like that. But the solution is capable of identifying only that document part and then extracting it. And if you can see, that image is really small, right? Because it's the whole workspace is being captured in that image. But still we can take it. So when you think of document complexities, I think we have handled most of it. Obviously, we all might have a bit more complex documents, but we are here to take that challenge and show that it can be done. One example, you'll see handwritten documents. So pay attention to that, because many people have handwritten documents when it comes to production schedules, when it comes to like on-site visits to check generators or ACs and all those things. So how can we bring all those information so we have that done? So I want to stop here and go to some real use, some kind of business use cases, which will be done by Sonali, and invite you to put your questions into the chat or ask it at the end, how we can help you change the way you do business, the way you capture information and analyze them using these kind of technologies. So Sonali, over to you.
Thank you, Enrico. I believe that all attendees find the introduction quite valuable. So, without further ado, I'll just quickly take you through the use cases that we are about to discuss. So, I'll be discussing about three use cases, one of the most commonly found use cases in our industries, right? So, to start off with, as Enrico mentioned, I'll be taking you through one of the common use cases, which is extracting handwritten data. So, just a quick introduction. So, if we come across different industries and different firms, like we see day-to-day documents, day-to-day handling documents is being processed manually. So we having so much of resources at your company who being assigned to extract to process these handwritten documents. So we have come up with a solution where we can upload the handwritten documents into a kind of a folder, and using ZILLIONe's document intelligence model from the backend, it will extract all this data from the handwritten document, and it will show you the confidence score, and it will analyze how much of a confidence that it has with all this data that has been extracted. So when it comes to handwritten data, we can see like there can be field reports, there can be documents like GRX and stuff, right? So when it comes to handwritten reports, there can be overwritten and corrected figures, okay? And there can be multiple values in a single cell. And also there can be unclear handwriting, and it will be very difficult to verify such data formats. So I'll quickly show you this video where it shows you how this process works and how the outcome will look like. So so first what you do is that you can upload the handwritten document into this system, right? So as you can see, it will show you a confidence, right? So the confidence score in the sense, so once the data is being extracted, we need to be sure what set of data has been extracted in a correct format. So suppose if you can say there can be data which has been overwritten, or as I mentioned before, there can be data which has multiple values in a single cell. So in such scenarios, the confidence level can be too low. So in this solution, what happens is, so with values which are below a specific level of confidence, it will highlight such values for the end user to go through the handwritten document and map it with the extracted data and just to correct it by themselves, right? So as you can see here, so you can see there are a couple of yellow values, and you could see some of these red values, right? So the values highlighted in yellow is where the confidence score is between 15 to 70%, which means like the model is quite confident that the value could be this one, but it's quite unsure that it is the exact value that was given in the handwritten document. So such value should be highlighted in yellow, right? So all the rest of the values which are not highlighted means which has the confidence score which is about 70%, right? So what you can do is simply the end user can go through these highlighted values and they can just simply check with the handwritten document and see whether the values has been correctly extracted by the solution itself. So as you can see in the video.
Shall we? Yeah.
Yeah. So as in the handwritten document, you could see that the values that has been extracted, you can be correctly checked with the handwritten document and the extracted data. And all these highlighted values can be again double checked with the handwritten document, and you can edit it in the solution itself. Yes, Enrico, I think you have some questions.
Yeah, so when we do this practically, this is from an as-is system that we took these examples. So what we did with that client was we told them, okay, if you can get to best practices, like if you're cutting it, you need to cut it diagonally. If you're going to write something, write it within the cell boundaries. When you do those basic kind of process improvements for handwritten documents, the system really becomes much more stable and much more accurate. So this is based on the as-is system. So if you're having these kind of problems, tell us, we can kind of come and optimize even how you gather the data, give you the best practices so that the system is much more effective when they are kind of bringing in the data. Just wanted to add that part in.
As you can see in the video, so you can see these highlight values can be edited before saving the changes, right? So once you save these changes, so the output table, which is given below in the screen. So what happens is like all this data that you have been edited will be changed accordingly, right? So based on those values, you can either save this document in a CSV format, or else you can get this document exported as Excel file. So this is one of the use cases for the handwritten document data extraction. Okay, right. I'll just quickly jump you to the next one. Right. So for the second use case, right? So there can be instances where you have multiple, maybe like a bulk of invoices, maybe in an image output, or it can be either a scan set of invoices, right? Or it can be either PDF or in an image format, right? So you may find difficulties in extracting the data, like putting it into a folder, classifying those files, maybe renaming it, right? So we have an ideal solution where we can upload these invoices either in an image or a PDF format into a specific location. and where it automatically triggers a flow where it will extract all these data from the invoices or any other maybe field reports or any other documents, right? And it will populate it, extract the data in a SharePoint list, right? So what happens is once it gets populated in a SharePoint list, simply you can validate whether the data has been correctly extracted. So once the validation is done, you can simply upload this data into write this data into any ERP application. So right now, what we are going to show you is the same flow which has been done using a Sage ERP system. But as Enrico mentioned earlier, it is not just limited to Sage ERP, right? So there can be in-house grown ERPs, there can be any other ERPs, any other systems rather than ERPs. Simply, we can bring this solution, we can map this solution, we can integrate this solution into any other system. So right now, I'll show you the demo of this. Okay. As you can see, we have uploaded a set of invoices, scanned invoices as images into a SharePoint list. So these are some of the sample invoices that we have taken, right? So in the invoices, we'll be extracting the invoice number, the date of issue, and the client. And also from the items list, we'll be extracting a one item row, and also we'll be taking the total value and the validators as well. So as you can see in the SharePoint list, based on the values that has been mapped for the invoice, all the relevant details, all the relevant data has been extracted with SharePoint list. Once extracted, so as you can see, the Sage screen will be automatically open, and it will just simply go through the invoice applications, and it will start writing each and every extracted data as line items. So as you can see, the whole process is automated where no human intervention is required. So as you can see, it will start writing each and every extracted data as a separate record. Will be wrote as a line item separately. So let's wait until it gets completed, and once all the line items has been recorded into the Sage, it will show you the whole process has been completed. Right? So this will keep iterating. Like if you say if you upload maybe like 10 to 15 invoices or any other images that you have, right? So it will start writing all these items as the way that you want. So in this scenario, the client wants to write as separate line items. So based on that, it will keep the same process iterated until the whole process is being completed, until all the extracted data is being written into the Sage. Okay, as you can see, it will show you that all the data has been entered and completed, right? And you can execute after this.
Yeah, some questions that people ask when we do these demos in person is, okay, we have authentication to be done. You need a user account and password to log on to the system. So yes, we can automate that so that you know that it is coming from the AI system and it's authenticated so that anybody wants for compliance or logs, all those particular parts are available. That's one. The second one that a lot of people ask us is, there are shortcut keys inside the ERPs or applications. Can you bring in shortcut keys through this automation? The simple answer is yes, we can bring shortcut keys. Final question that people ask is, okay, the ERP is not kept open all the time due to licenses and all those things. Can you start the application and do this entire process end to end? The answer is yes. We will start the application, go to the correct place. If it's an invoice, create a new invoice, and then enter the data. It could be a bank rec, it could be information for anything else. It's fine as long as you can tell how a manual person or a human would do it. We can replicate all those things. So those are some of the things that people ask us when we go on to one-on-ones.
Thank you. Moving into the use case. So I believe that inside the organizations, there can be instances, there can be scenarios where you scan invoices or maybe you scan POs or anything in some sort of documents, and you start manually renaming it and storing it in a local server. So this always includes a higher human intervention, and it will lead to error-prone task as well. So the solution that we are going to discuss here, what happens is like you can upload the invoices or the documents that you have into the system. So it will extract the invoice number and the date from the documents, and it will rename these invoices, right? So once renamed, these files will be classified accordingly. Classified in the sense, so there can be instances where you have multiple page invoices, right? So when you are scanning these invoices will be scanned separately. And once you rename these files, you have to find the relevant invoices. We have to find the multi-page invoice, and you have to do this process manually. Where you have to put all these invoices together in a separate folder. So through this solution, I'll be showing you the video where you extract the invoice number and the date, rename the file, and these files will be stored in a separate folder where multi-page invoices also being taken into the under the same document. As you can see, we'll be uploading one sample invoice to this solution. And since the invoice number and the date is on the top part of the invoice, you can simply select to which part of the document that the extraction should be taking place. When you start processing it, you can see that after the process, it will extract the invoice number and the date from the invoice, and it will rename the file with the invoice number and the date extracted. So as you can see in this video here, the invoice number has been taken out and the date also has been extracted. So using both of these values, the file has been renamed accordingly. So as you can see, the new file name is along with the invoice number and the date. So once it is done, these files will be classified according to three folders, right? So we have the input folder, we have the output folder, and also we have an error folder and archive folder. So the process happens once the input folder will contain the files that you upload into the solution, and the output folder will give you the file with the new rename option, and the error folder is where suppose if the extraction couldn't take place where the invoice number and the date is not clear. In such a scenario, such files will be classified in the error folder. And if everything took place perfectly, if the extraction and the renaming was perfect, right? So such files will be taken into the archive folder because we are not deleting any folders after the process. So as you can see, the output folder is being stored under the relevant folder, and the same file will be taken into the archive folder as well. And anything extra?
So y'all can think, right? Like, because when we bring AI and we bring the information out, this solution actually helps the humans work better. Like in this particular delivery note one, sometimes, a customer will call and say, look, I wrote on the delivery note saying that, three items are not delivered or something like that. So how fast can you get to that information? It's not on anything but on the paper document. So when you have a system like this and you rename those delivery notes onto, we'll say, the invoice number, delivery number, customer name, you can just go to the folder and use those normal SharePoint or OneDrive features to filter that information. So those are some of the key things. And uh, how we like to think is while we are showing, components like, okay, this is doing only the file management part. This could be one major part in that whole system. So once we reorganize it, from the reorganized files only we take the data and we feed it into other systems. So you can bring, so it's not that you need to take all the components, but you can assemble the components that you need basically to solve the business problem you have. So that is one thing I would like to add in this whole session. Sorry, that's from the three demos that we have.
Yes, it is. So let's move into the next slide. Let's talk about the business benefits of docking pages. I would like to invite Enrico to discuss about this.
So I think I jumped the gun, and on the keynote, I kind of tried to explain some of these. Uh, since we have discussed it before, I will not take the high speed. The low cost is, Sonali, how much we are looking at? We are looking at about $30 for 10,000 per thousand documents. So it's a real low cost that we have per page processing. And as we explained, if you need only header information, then you take only for a one page or whatever the cost. If you need everything on a 5-page document, then it will be a 5-page coming in there. To summarize, no APIs required because we are writing directly into the applications you have. However, if you have APIs and that's the route you want to take, we can call APIs and directly push it in from the backend into the ERP, CRM, or whatever you have. But if you don't have it, that was the bottleneck so far. You all have seen how we write to Sage, we can write it to anything else. Precision and accuracy, guys, it's really, really great precision that we have. In handwritten also, the number of times that the system will ask a human to correct is very less. And through those guidelines that we gave, we can even improve that precision accuracy there. So manual workload you can completely reduce. You can organize your documents in a particular way, rename those documents and extract information. However, this is like, like the features that we have, but the real business that benefit that we get, we are working with one client that we do the logistics related invoices. So anyone who's in logistics knows how these invoices are done by these logistic companies. So there are in one invoice, there are multiple components, like there's the customs duty, the transport charges. So currently what people do is they just put that invoice in. They don't break too much, maybe the most important things they take. But what we have done in our solution is we break and we take all the items in so that when we bring that to the ERP, you can analyze, okay, what is my transport cost per container over the last 2 to 3 years? What has been my duty for a particular product? When you have those analytics, you can kind of take action to bring your costs down and really improve the bottom line. So those are some of the key advantages that we see when people really use the systems. On the delivery note, it is like on a customer satisfaction, your credibility, all those things improve when you have that information at your fingertips to say no, we have actually delivered it, or yes, we have to deliver 3 or 4 items more. So how you can improve your top line and your bottom line using all these kind of infusing AI into the current systems. Finally, the most important thing is we are not asking you to replace any system. We are not asking you to come to a different ERP or anything like this. These systems will work together with the systems that you have, the systems that work for you, and reduce that manual workload. So that's about it from a business benefit kind of point of view.
So since you have gone through so much of use cases and they have detailed explained you like what sort of business value that these solutions can bring to your company, so we would like to offer you a free demo solution where you can try out this solution free option. So I'll be sharing the link in the chat. So you can just simply go to the link and you can upload any document that you want and you can see how this extraction process works. So as the next phase, I would like to open up the questions for the attendees. So we'll be happy to answer if you have any questions.
Any questions coming up? Any places that you see alignment that okay, this is kind of a solution that you all are looking for, or you all have tried this already and had some kind of difficulties or stuff like that. Any questions that you all have? You all can use the chat also if you don't want to turn your audio or anything like that. You can just drop it in the chat, and then we can take it from there. Yeah, so seems there are not many questions. I think it's very typical in our webinars and even in our events. So please connect with us offline. On the chat, you have our details. Sonal, you can share your details and my details on the chat. And then please connect us offline in that. And we'll see how we can have one-on-one engagement. So we can come to your office. You can share the documents with us before so that we can tell you what we can do. You can try your documents on that link that Sonali gave, but remember it's kind of a generic one. It is not optimized exactly for your requirements. So when we work with you, we'll optimize those to catch all the information that is there, right? So shall we wrap the session up, Sonali? Since I don't think there are any questions coming up.
So we have one question. Where are the data captured stored, locally or in the cloud? Shehan, I think. Thank you for the question. Kind of a good question that we would like to address. So basically what happens is now the captured data, so it can be stored in location that you prefer. Now in one of the use cases I show you where we are extracting data in a SharePoint list, and the same data is being stored in the Sage ERP system itself, but it depends on your requirements. So suppose it can be either on-prem or a cloud solution. So if you want to store the data in a SharePoint list, of course we can do it, or else if you want to bring the data into an on-prem solution, of course we can do that as well. It depends on your requirement. Do we have any other questions from the audience?
So just to, I think, reiterate what Jehan asked, is when we work with especially regulated industries like banks and insurance companies, especially on KYCs and stuff like that, this question all the time comes. So simply to answer, yes, on-prem we can store the information. Temporal processing for data extraction happens on the cloud, but it's very temporary, only till the time that it's extracted. And these models don't store any information on the cloud. It's just extraction and putting it in. However, if you want to run it on your own infrastructure on like a VM inside your data center, that is also possible. We can run these solutions there. So you can even, so it's a completely local solution running on a VM for data extraction, storing on a whatever. It can be a CSV, it could be through an API, it could be into the SQL Server, MySQL, it doesn't matter. As long as the connectivity is there, we can store it. So very valid question, and thanks, Jan, for asking that. So if you're in a regulated industry, we are completely compliant with that. So once again, thank you for joining the meeting. I hope we delivered some insightful things where you can, experiment. So catch you again on the next session that we have. We'll invite you on, and we'll connect you offline to see whether you have any more requirements that we can carry through. So have a great day, guys, and be safe. Thanks a lot for joining.